My name is Chris Donnelly. I'm the current owner of Donnelly's Plumbing, Heating, and Cooling. We're based out of Lansdale, Pennsylvania.
Fantastic. And how long have you owned the company? How long has it been in your family?
My father started it in 1972, and then he retired in 2016. I bought it in 2016. This will be this fall is me 10 years with the business in this form. Yeah.
Wow. So you've owned the company for a long time. You've had it in your family for 4 decades. What was recruiting like before you met Hunter? Like, what was some of those challenges that you were facing before you and I ever met each other?
Yeah, I would say that recruiting for the trades is extremely competitive, and we didn't have a process, we didn't have a purpose, we didn't have like targets defined, we didn't have anything, and it was like sort of overwhelming. And so we would just like sort of put ads out, and whoever came to us, we would talk to them, and if they seemed like good people, we would hire them, and and we sort of did that for a number of years before meeting you.
There's a lot of recruiting firms I'm sure you probably met or talked to. What made you decide that you would want to pick Hunter over some of the other options that were out there?
It was through a referral from somebody else, and they were like you were looking to work with somebody, the same people that I was working with, and they're like, hey, can you talk to this guy Aaron as a referral so that like you can sell him on us? And so then we ended up talking like as a referral, and I'm like, well, what do you do? And you're like, oh, I have this recruiting company, and then like I don't know, a couple months went by, and I was like, oh, I remember that guy Aaron, and I talked to Ed. I think it was Ed. I talked to Ed, and I was like, hey, like, you give me that guy's number again. I want to reach out to him and see if he can help me here. And so we talked, and you were like, well, I don't really do anything specifically for the trades, maybe like one or two people, but like, yeah, we can figure it out. And so that was number one, and then number two, um, you were like an hourly based, where everybody else is sort of fee based, fee based, and so I didn't want to we didn't have a ton of capital at the time, so I didn't want to like put out like $20,000 to $40,000 per hire, and I knew we needed to hire a bunch of people, and so the hourly seemed to work really well. And then three, like you're like, I'm gonna come out and I'm gonna spend a week with you guys and do a consulting thing, and we're like, yeah, okay, like whatever. And so we did it, but when you came out, like you literally like were a part of the business for a week, and like it was like you had been a part, like you were a team member, and you were in like every meeting. I think you talked to every person in the business, and so like I was like that was the probably the deepest consulting gig that I think I've ever seen anybody do. And so I was sold after that, yeah, for sure.
Well, and I'm glad that you allowed me to be a part of it, because we find with our customers, or excuse me, with our clients, getting to be a part of their business helps us understand their culture, and then we can do a better job. And we'll talk about that in a little bit too, kind of what the effects were. But when you started working with Hunter Recruitment Advisors and you and I talked, what was that big challenge? It sounded like cash flow was one of the things that you were having to navigate at that time, but it also sounded like you had a lot of growth plans in place. Was that the biggest challenge at that point when we started working together?
Yeah, when we started working together, I think the biggest challenge at the time was just like connecting with the right people. Like we had set up this culture, and we had this set of values, and it was like, how do we broadcast this? And I had talked to somebody, maybe a year or so before meeting you, and they were like, look, it's all like recruiting for the trades is all just like it's sort of like telemarketing. It's like just grinding and outbound calling and making connections with people. And like we didn't have the time to do that in house, right? Like we didn't have the time to like develop a list and just sit around and make. And I undersell it like that, but like sit around and make phone calls and keep track of leads and stuff like that. Like because we were doing all these other things, and so you know, I don't know of any other recruiting firm that like offers to do that, like grind it out, like we're just going to make 1,000 phone calls or however many phone calls we need to make in order to build a list, and then bring people in. And so that was number one. And then number two was it was sort of like it was hard for us to like sell people on, or not sell people, but like you sort of had to experience us to know us, and because you spent the week with us, you were able to set us up with Susie, who was also like a part of the team, and she would talk to recruits, and they would be like, man, I can't believe this place is real. And then they'd come in and they'd talk to Terrell, and they'd talk to everybody else, and people would be like, is this place real? Is this like Disneyland? Like what is this? And so it was a good so it was a good thing we were able to sell, like give people a picture of what it was like working with the business, working with our business, and that would like lead people into wanting to have more conversations.
What was the most surprising thing about working with Hunter Recruitment Advisors?
I think like that personal touch, like Susie was literally a part of the team. Like you coming out and spending a week and being engaged in like everything we did, and then Susie, and she was great, and it was like she was part of the team, and she would go out and like talk with other people about us, and it was as if she was like an employee of Donnelly's, like she represented herself like that, and I think that that's really important, particularly in a recruiting capacity when it's not something that's in house.
Makes sense. Are there any measurable results or key milestones that you guys achieved when you partnered with Hunter Recruitment Advisors?
Yeah, like so we had this plan. We were like, we wanted to double the number of people that we had, or we wanted to like increase the number of people that we had in a really short time. And we ended up hiring like, I don't know, some ridiculous number of people. It was like we were like 30 people, and we went to like 55 like within a year or something. And it was, I mean, we certainly couldn't have done that on our own.
Now, how is the overall health of your business now that you have partnered with Hunter Recruitment Advisors?
That's a great question. I think A plus. I think our culture is great because working with you helped us take what we had figured out about who we were, and then like match people with that. And it took some passes to sort of get it right, but like now that we've sort of perfected it, like you taught us how to do that, and then we were able to like. So we built that capacity together, and then we were able to go use that and leverage it and make it even better. And so I think that through a combination of like just the hardcore like sourcing efforts and teaching us how to interview and how to onboard people to give them a full experience, like I think that's been impactful. And I met with Terrell, our GM, the other day, and he every week he has to tell me like what the morale is, and he actually put a 10 out of 10 on the paper, and I was really shocked, and I had to ask him about it. And he was like, "Yeah, I've talked to everybody, and it really seems like it's 10 out of 10."
That's fabulous. That's so fabulous. So often the people that we partner with, they're surprised by the fact that we know we're going to work ourselves out of a job. They seemed, with perspectives, they're like, sure, you will. But then to actually hear individuals like yourself that know, like literally, we're going to teach you the skills so that you can do this for yourself. It seems like it's made a big impact for you.
Yeah, like that's said really well, because I think a lot of consultants like try to keep themselves in a job for as long as period possible. And from the beginning, you were like, "Hey, look, like it's our whole thing is to do this for like 8 to 10 months, and then like we're literally going to teach you how to do this organizationally. Like we're going to build this capacity within your business, or this capability within your business, and then you're going to go out and run it." And like I can't think of any better consulting arrangement than one that where they teach us how to do something that's a key thing for us, and then we go out and we do it, and we're successful at it. Like A plus. Like
Well, how would you describe the value of our services to someone who's, watching your video for the first time and they're giving consideration like, well, should we work with Hunter Recruitment Advisors? What would you tell them?
that's sort of a funny question. Like people call me all the time because like they're like, "Hey, like this Hunter recruiting thing," and like they almost don't believe me. I'm like, you just got to call this guy, and just like he's gonna ask you to like to pay some money to come out and do this on site, and like just do it. Like I just whatever he asks you for, just do it, because he's going to come out and he's going to be a part of your business, and he's really going to learn what your business is and how it works, and what the key things are. And I tell people, I'm like, look, you literally talked to everybody in our company like within a week. We had a spreadsheet of like this consistent question set, and we had these opinions and values from people that we had never had before. And it's like I'm almost so effusive that like that people like, I don't know. So I would say like this is one of those things where it seems like you might be on the fence about it, but there's don't be on the fence about it. Like yeah, like this is worth every penny that you're going to pay for it, and it's going to change the business dramatically.
Well, I appreciate everything that you've shared with us. Are there any final thoughts that maybe I should have asked that maybe I forgot to ask you?
I think we touched on it a little bit, but I want to reiterate that like the teaching of the capability of recruiting and to teach us where the leverage points were in terms of sourcing and how to question people and how to determine who's a good fit, and then the onboarding process. Like we went from having nothing to having a very consistent like recruiting, hiring, onboarding process that like that that now has like onboarding training installed with it. And so like we sort of make promises to people in our branding material and our marketing material, and then through the process we've learned that we're actually demonstrating to people like how the business is, like what they see in the video is actually what we're doing. And then it's like we said in the beginning, it's like people think it's almost too good to be true, but it's like they actually see it. It's like integrity is a big thing for us and doing what we say we're going to do. And so you've given us the ability to do that highly effectively and with confidence. And so I think regardless of what happens, like you know, permanent installation in the business. This is for 2021 that we work together. Like this is the if people ask me the strategic things that I did to grow my business, this is like the number one thing that I would mention. Yeah,
You're so kind. Thank you so much for being willing to speak with me. I know you're super busy, but we just appreciate you so much for being willing to join us today.
absolutely, Aaron. Thank you, man.
Have a great day. Merry Christmas, my friend.
Yeah, Merry Christmas to you.